everyone, I'm Claudia, and that is Taylorette right there. Cassandra is her name, to be specific. And she runs this YouTube channel, and I'm interviewing her on her YouTube channel and asking her a little more in detail of how she learned how to sew. First question is, how did you start? I mean, I know you have another video, but how did you start learning to sew? What got you into it, and what is your basic history of your sewing?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I have another video, like she mentioned, on my YouTube. See the link below, on more detail of how I got into sewing and everything.
Yeah.
But to give a brief overview for those of you who have not seen that video, I basically started sewing when I was 11. My mom taught me how to use a sewing machine, how to do quilting and stuff. I was not into garment sewing. However, that led to garment sewing because I am not a mathematical person. I love doing creativity, cutting curved lines and stuff like that. So, yeah, I guess you could say my passion for creativity drove me into sewing. During my high school years, I spent a lot of time sewing, making things for other people and making money off of it so that I could actually support my hobby. And eventually I ended up getting into more like selling dresses online, and my sister started that business first, and then she was like, hey, I don't like sewing. So she passed it off to me. And that was originally actually Garland of Grace. It is now the Taylorette shop. See the link below. My shop is a little empty right now, so don't judge. I just had a baby, so anyways, but so yeah, that is generally how I got into sewing, first of all. Yeah. So now I'm curious, did you have any classes that you took along the way? Because usually, some people take sewing classes or something, or they go to college. Did you go to college for design? Or, I mean, what entailed your education, basically? Now that is a question that I get pretty commonly when I tell people what I do for a living. I think they're not used to hearing someone working from home and doing sewing and designing things or whatever. And the biggest thing is, no, I did not go to college. I did not take classes. Honestly, I think if I was babied throughout my whole teaching experience of here's what you need to do step by step, I honestly think that that would have stunted my creativity and would have kept me from exploring and learning more on my own, because I don't have someone putting a chip into my head saying this is what you're supposed to do, which there's nothing wrong with taking a class. I'm not saying that there's something wrong with that. Some people need hands-on, but I do think that if you let your creativity and your passion for creativity drive your experience to go, okay, I really want to make this look just right. Having a high standard for yourself too, but also understanding that you're going to make mistakes at times. So aiming for that high, but also being okay when something goes wrong is key, because that is essentially how I learned. So now I'm curious, what are some insights you could give us on how you taught yourself? Like, how does one teach themselves? You know what I mean? I think that is an interesting question. Why doesn't the rest of our society learn how to teach themselves? Why don't they put that in school? I think a lot of it is laziness is another thing. Teaching yourself is a skill. It's not just simply, I was born with this talent of teaching myself. You're not just born with a talent. You are, in a sense that, like for me, I was born with a talent of seeing things backwards. And so I can learn sewing. That took me 10 years to become a professional, because that's how long it takes to become a professional, is 10 years. The great thing about that is I had that gift, but I had to exercise it. I had to practice. It's not like I was born and then 11 years old came and all of a sudden I was creating these crazy historical costumes and having a YouTube channel and doing all that stuff. It takes time. So if anyone wants to do something that they're passionate about, they can do it, just as a matter of practice. Just like someone told me once that everyone can draw. Everyone can draw a picture of a person. Everyone can paint a picture. Everyone can do anything. It's a matter of how the drive they have to learn it. If they practice is everything, and doing. And so when you teach yourself, you're just practicing. You just do it. You start doing it and you find your resources and you go and look, okay, I'm curious about this. Where would I go to find this? Okay, maybe I should go here. Maybe I should go there and grab this piece. And it's as simple as that. I think everyone puts this professional thing into this big monster, like they're a professional, and how did they get there? That's for special people. It's like, no, everyone can be a professional at what they do. I don't think that everyone can be a professional at everything. I think we're limited human beings, but it also keeps things in perspective. As a YouTuber, as I make more complicated dresses, it actually puts it in perspective for me that, hey, everyone else out there has a talent. They just haven't exercised it. That doesn't mean that I'm any better than anybody else, if that makes sense, because I have a YouTube channel. I've spent 18 years practicing sewing. So no wonder I have a YouTube channel, and that doesn't make me amazing. It took me 18 years to get here. Actually, honestly, I should be further along if I was more diligent with my time.
Now, did you struggle along the way? So you never went to college, which is a big deal for a lot of families. Was that ever a struggle with relating to people? Did people ever feel like they had to put pressure on you, or how did you feel about that whole thing?
Yeah, so I had a lot of support from the people around me. The particular circles that I was in at the time was really interested in pushing away college anyway. So at the time I had a lot of encouragement. However, if I were in a more normal setting, long story short on what I mean by that, but I think if I were more in a circle of people that were very big into college, it would have been a lot harder for me to push it away because I would have felt like I was wasting my life. But I think by the time I had gotten into circles where people were really big into college, they had already seen kind of how far I had made. So they weren't judging me. I was probably at the same level as some people who were coming out of college. So, you could just say that, no, I didn't struggle with pressures. And honestly, I'm the type that loves to be different. I don't like to do anything with the norm. And just because I think that the norm is what gets us into creative slumps, it also leads us down paths of not questioning anything. So we can get ourselves into trouble if we don't, question for ourselves. So I don't believe in being different just for the sake of being different, but I love to just be myself within certain bounds. Like obviously there's certain boundaries that I have for myself because I am a sinful person and you don't want to just let that go. But keep the commandments, break the conventions. That's my biggest thing. And I want to hang that up in my sewing studio. Keep the commandments, break the conventions. I'm a huge fan of breaking the conventions because that's when things are invented and created, and that's how styles are made. That's how we go from skinny to straight jeans, is because you have someone who broke the convention and someone said, that looks really nice. I like that. Let's try that. So I'm curious, what resources, before we end this video, what resources can you give all of our followers and subscribers, or your followers? What would you recommend to them as resources to start of where to learn sewing and all that stuff? Is there a class they can take, or maybe there's a book or something online, something, Yeah, that would have helped me back then if someone had kind of given me the go ahead of how they learned how to sew. But yeah, I used YouTube and then Google and lots of sewing patterns. And what people don't realize is that you can actually open a sewing pattern and you have step-by-step instructions in there, even with illustrations. They are drawn illustrations, so they are a little bit more, they are a little less harder to tell what's going on there. But in the long run, you actually learn a lot. And if you don't know something, you can always go look it up on YouTube and figure out, okay, what's going on here? Also, historical patterns are really good. They're just excellent sources for learning how to sew, really detail all that historical information. They have notes on the back of patterns for things of why they sew things a certain way, and you're kind of wondering why. I am in the historical sewing world, but I do break a lot of rules, and I do that on purpose. Yeah, this has been fun. Thanks for coming on my YouTube channel. And thanks for coming on set. The only thing I would request is next time if you could not do pigtails in your hair. It's just a little bit obnoxious, and the way you're twisting your hair during the thing is a little weird. Yeah, you're the one encouraging everyone to be their original selves, so whatever. Anyways, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and we might have another interview with Claudia if she changes her hair.
And I have a Christmas
Adios,
project that
everyone.
I'm working on this week, and so I'm going to have a video of what I'm making over Christmas break. So hit that subscribe button, like this video, and I will see you all at the next project.
Let me know in the comment section how you like this interview and if you'd like to see more interviews with Claudia and me, or if you think it's dumb.